study,
and play come together on a Windows 11 PC.
And for a limited time, college students get
The best
of both worlds.
Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
British Spy Stories Season 6 Counter-Strike Episode 29. The Trans-Siberia Express approaches the main station of the Ural town of Nijy-Tagil in the early afternoon. From the spies' covert observations since the fight on the roof, Adrik Vesna has completed the journey alone. Gabby and Talgarth make their way out of their cabin and down onto the platform. We need to place a tag on Vesna, Ivy. Given your success with the master key, go and pretend to be a Moscow girl who's lost, as you've never been this far east before. He saw you in Moscow, so you need to look different. She pulls off her backpack and finds the blonde wig. Then Talgarth shoves her hair up inside it. Gabby hands her sunglasses, and these, then takes a small white box from her pocket. Inside the top layer are fake earphones. She flips the inner lining up to reveal 4 microscopically thin wafers sitting in a frame. Take one of these RL12 micro tags and attach it to his clothing somewhere, says Gabby. Talgarth swipes one wafer from the frame onto her fingertip, puts on the sunglasses and heads off towards the queue, waiting to get through the ticket barriers. Adrik Vesna is halfway down. Talgarth walks along the queue and trips over right in front of him. "Oh, my ankle," she says in Russian. "Are you all right?" he says, and she grimaces. He offers her his hand and she takes it. Then he steadies her as she stands. "Thank you." Talgarth momentarily places her fingers on the back of his hand. "I was looking for the taxis. Are they this way? I haven't been here before." "Just through the gates," says Vesna. "Are you travelling alone?" "Yes, from Moscow." "You can share my cab. Where are you headed?" Talgarth hadn't planned a backstory for this cover, so she names the only place that she knows in the town. "The tank factory." "The tank factory? You're working there?" "Yes." "Who's your boss?" She hesitates. "I don't know yet. They just said to report to reception." "What do you do?" Her mind rolls about in search of ideas. "Technician." "Then you work for me, ultimately. I'm Adrik Vesna." He holds out his hand. "Welcome to the team. What's your name?" "Agata." "An unusual name these days," he says. "It was my grandmother's name. You know it means good woman." "Yes," she laughs. "Are you?" he says. "Am I what?" "A good woman." He holds her gaze. "Of course." They pause for a moment. "Thank you for your help, Mr. Vesna." She smiles and he does too. Then she hurries away, and he watches her go. Gabby has found a bench on the platform that is out of sight, and Talgarth can't see her at first when she returns. "Ivy, over here." Gabby's watching a red blip on the screen of her phone. "I've sent the tracker feed to your phone too, so we can both see where he goes. We'll get a cab to the safe house, then wait for his tracker to stop moving, which will show us either it's Vesna's home or the place he's planning to build the Gorgon machine." "Will he continue to work on his own?" says Talgarth. "Possibly. It's irrelevant who's doing it, really. We need those X-ray scans and to destroy the machine. If Adrik Vesna is now leading, as Orlov is missing presumed dead, then it makes no difference to us. Orlov was burned anyway. He can't go back to the SVR, and he can't go to the west. Where's the body, do you think? Somewhere on the Russian plain, lying beside the train tracks. They'll find him sometime. But we'll be long gone, back to the west, by then. After Vesna has gone through the ticket barriers, the spies take a cab from the station to a road that is 2 blocks from the only MI6 safe house in the town. They walk for 5 minutes with their backpacks and turn into a lonely road called Ulitsa Krupskoy in the Jasinski district of the town. Derelict industrial buildings on both sides of the road are overgrown with grass and weeds. The second property along looks like all the others, with no distinguishing marks on the outside, and an empty frame of steelwork in front of it that used to display a sign about its former use. Gabby leads them around the corner of the building, where an ancient blue Lada 7 car sits rusting in the long grass, under a dilapidated carport. There's a door on the side wall, and Gabby slides her hand across the brickwork until she finds a false section. She slides it back, and underneath there's a keypad, which she types into, before a gentle click indicates that the door has been unlocked. Inside there's a dusty abandoned corridor, which stretches along the spine of the building and is littered with detritus from the last occupants. Gabby walks to another doorway, types into another keypad, and pushes on inside. This time it's a small square lobby, with only one other door in it. Close that door, Ivy. It releases the inner one. Talgarth does so, and Gabby turns the handle to a second door to reveal a modern operations room, with a kitchen at one end, sleeping accommodation, and a bathroom. "Welcome to Sigma 1, says Gabby. "One of only 2 MI6 safe houses in the Russian Federation that are outside Moscow. How long's it been here? Since 93? MI6 at the time wanted to know about the new T-90 battle tank that the Russians were making down the road. So they created this place. As they explore, there's the sound of a diesel engine outside, getting closer. That should be part 1 of our delivery, says Gabby. I ordered an Annabelle special container. They walk out, and a large truck loaded with a short container has stopped on the road outside. Behind the cab is a crane for unloading. Gabby gives the driver the security code for the delivery, and he reverses into a covered bay at the back of the building, then locks the crane's arm onto the sides of the container and slowly lifts it off the vehicle. As the empty truck bounces away along the dusty road, Gabby beckons Talgarth to follow her. She inputs letters and numbers into a lock, and they walk inside the container. The walls are covered with 30 computer screens. In the center of the space is a silver gaming chair with levers and buttons set into both of the arms. "Sit in the chair," says Gabby, and Talgarth sits down. "When we find the Gorgon components, we'll need to destroy them. But there are only 2 of us, and we need to be 24 to mount an attack. We both saw the scale of the Gorgon machine in the factory back in Moscow." Talgarth watches her boss's face. "This container gives us the capacity to be a whole battle group. It's called an RN-27B. There's a second container on the way, which will be here soon. The desk here controls what's in the second container, which is 100 armed drones, equipped with machine guns, bombs, and flamethrowers. Each drone has a camera, and you control it all from this chair. It makes you a one-woman army." Talgarth scans her eyes across the controls, and Gabby continues. "So, when we find the machine, you're going to destroy it. There's an AI training module that I want you to run through and learn how all of this works. Then we'll be ready. Where will you be, Mum, during the attack? I'll be there on the ground in person to locate and remove our X-ray scans. While I'm destroying the machine? Isn't that dangerous? It's our only option, Ivy. It's a risk that we're going to take. On his train journey from Moscow, Adric Vesna had made a dozen calls to colleagues and friends in search of a premises in Niji Tagil that he can use to assemble the Gorgon machine. Finally, Nikolai Bortnik had come up with the goods, as his family owns a number of commercial sites in the town, and he had sent Adric photos of a place just off the main road called Vostochnoye Shossa. It has the facilities he needs and, critically, it's far enough away from the tank factory for comfort. He had taken 2 weeks' holiday from his job to help Alexei Orlov create the clones of the British tank parts, until Alexei had told him that the second part of the plan involved stolen T-99 Russian X-rays. Adric had been relaxed about this whole project, but in the last couple of days, since he had known that he will be a traitor to his country, he hasn't slept more than a few hours a night. He hadn't pushed back too hard when Alexei had explained the plan. Adric has done well in his career, but he won't get any more promotions in the future. He's at the top, so there's nowhere left to go. There's nothing left for him here, in this town. His wife had left him years ago, and they'd never had children. His parents are his only family now, and as Alexei is going to get them to the West too, maybe Adric will get somewhere in Florida and look after the old couple in a place near the beach. When Alexei hadn't returned after walking off during dinner on the train, Adric wasn't concerned. They had agreed that, should MI6 still be chasing them, they would split up. The British spies really only want Orlov, so he had agreed to play decoy and lead them away from Adric and his Gorgon machine. Alexei had told him that the X-ray scans are on board one of the trucks coming from Moscow, so as soon as the team have finished assembly, they can start the cloning process. The cab from the station drops him off at home. He walks around the rooms, wondering if it's nearly the last time that he'll be here. It's been his home for 20 years, since he came here. His mind rolls back to the memories of the era in this place, and particularly his young wife, looking radiant after she travelled all the way out here to be with him when he got his first job in the factory. But the town wasn't enough for her. She didn't need to work because of his salary, and, he discovered later, she spent the time sleeping with his friends when he was working late at the office. He climbs into his silver Gaz 31105 car and pulls out onto the road, then up to the junction before turning west into the flow of traffic. It only takes him 15 minutes before he pulls off the main road and stops in front of a set of rusted gates. The chain tying them together has broken, and he unlaces it, then drives inside. It's a 2-story warehouse with loading bays across the whole of the front. He jumps up to the concertina bay doors and finds a damaged one that has a gap, big enough for him to slip through. Inside, it's exactly what he needs. The floor plan is as big as the place in Moscow. He finds the power cupboard and tugs at a big master switch. It's rusted and won't move. He goes in search of something to lever the thing and finds a metal bar. There's a clunk as the switch moves, and the lights come on across the factory floor. He checks his watch. Half an hour, then the trucks will be here. Adric hears a car horn sound outside. He walks back to the loading bay and tries the electric motors to raise the doors. They work, and slowly all of the concertina doors grind upwards. On the other side, 30 excited engineers are waiting, and they wave greetings to the man who is giving them this world-first experience. The tracker on Adric Vesna stopped moving an hour ago, and Gabby messages Talgarth to say that she's going to do a reconnaissance on the location while Talgarth trains herself on the RN-27B. She walks out to the carport. The larder must be 25 years old, and the battery is flat when she turns the key. But there's a row of other old car batteries on a shelf at the back, and a set of jump leads. She tries to jump the car with each one until the third battery has enough juice left in it to turn over the engine. Gabby heads out through the dusty roads of the old industrial area, then passes the tank factory, where Vesna is chief engineer. It's only a few minutes more before she reaches another industrial zone, nestled near the main station, and crisscrossed with railway sidings, embedded into the access roads to move manufactured goods from these factories and out across Russia. As she arrives at the road junction, the tag marker on her phone is slowly blinking in the building on the corner. She parks her larder by the side of the road and ducks down through a gap in the chain-link fencing of the next plot. Gabby cuts around the back through trees that have grown up on the boundary. The building with Vesna's tag marker in it is a warehouse. She can see lights in high windows from her cover in the shrubbery. There's no one about, so she runs across to a door at the back of the warehouse. That's ajar. It's an old fire exit. She tugs at the handle, and behind the door is a set of stairs up to the top floor. Gabby moves up at speed, but without noise. This floor contains offices with large windows that provide a clear view of the storage space below. The teams of white-coated people she saw in Moscow are busy breaking the wooden crates that contain components for the Gorgon machine. The difference this time is that there are 6 teams at work, as the control unit components have arrived too. Each group has a set of long-legged tables, spread with the engineering drawings for their part of the construction. Gabby watches in silence, thinking through in her mind when would be the best time to attack this place. Then she hears the merest scuff of a shoe on the floor behind her. She turns and pulls out her Smith & Wesson from her belt in a single move. "Hello, Gabby," says Alexei. His Grach Yurigin pistol is already pointing at her. "We both thought that we'd killed the other one over the last 3 days," he says. "And yet, here we are." "Where did you go?" she says. "I climbed down the outside of the carriage when we were in that tunnel, then hid myself in the luggage van so you would see Vesna on his own for the rest of the journey." "Why?" "I had things to do, without you tailing me. I've organized security for this place, to keep you at bay," says Olaf. "You'll be outnumbered, Gabby. Not even you can win against that." There's a moment's silence. Then she hears the Grach fire. She feels pain rattle into her body on one side of her stomach, and she sees the light fade to nothing.